Hello YouTube, I'm Sean. I'm an actor and filmmaker that enjoys pretending to be a racing driver. Today we're racing the Cadillac in the prototype challenge at Hockenheim, and I'm doing this video a little different. My 3D printer was running, so I decided to provide commentary rather than talk while I attempt to drive. Now you'll notice the driving hasn't improved at all, but we still have an exciting race, so let's get going. All right, we got 18 cars on track, strength of field 2.3K. I'm pumped to be in the top split. Yay, right? Battlefield. Anyways, let's catch up here. That little guy. Well, I wouldn't worry about that little guy. Okay, so yeah, first lap here. Tires are cold, so it's easy to turn this thing around. Knowing that, we're we got a delayed start going green. Just can't really floor it in the corner like that. Lose position right away. Let's just be cautious. And okay, a little bit of rubbing his race. It's nothing like starting a race with a 6X. More tires going off, and I'm thinking here like, okay, let's just keep this thing 4 wheels going forward. Alright, heavy braking zone, cold tires when we leave a little bit of extra cushion. And that's exactly why. Not in the clear yet. This is another tricky corner, even with hot tires, so. And yep, another car going off. And another car going off. So it's really hard with these cold tires on this new tire model. Alright, getting a nice look at the debris refresh there. You know, it's a cool feature. So, in 5th, run wide at turn 1, that ruined my qualifying, that set me back. But, we got pace in the car, we know we got pace, so it's just a matter of finding it and staying between the lines. But you can see me there with a nice big sigh, having a 7X already, and just sweating my safety rating. Starting to trust the car a little bit more. In qualifying, that is flat, that right-hander, and gradually get there-ish as the race goes. Debris all over the place. Another car must have gone off. Collecting 1X's like they're a rare commodity. I'm being a little aggressive there, cutting back in just to avoid another off track. Trying my best to keep it between the lines, which is tough as you push harder and harder to maximize the pace in the car. So I'm gradually finding my breaking point there, and I'll work it closer and closer to the start of the curb as we go. It's a little smaller lift than last time, right? Trying to find the pace, find what you can do.
The two guys up front are both in Acuras, and they were driving that thing like it was a Formula One car, the way that they were able to barely like downshift and toss it in some spots. I have no idea how they did it. And another 1X, you know, just really trying to understand the limits of the circuit. You know, what's one more? Strategic off track there. Alright, so we know that third is in play, right? Jonathan is not running away, Igor's staying in touch, but we are getting chased down by Alec. So I really need to settle in and not put myself in a situation to be taken advantage of. But we do need to be able to take advantage of any opportunity that shows up ahead and not just be super cautious. Which is easy to do here because you don't, you know, there's a lot of opportunities to rear end someone if you're following closely. And sometimes you just have to come off the brake and chuck it up the inside. Alright, so let's talk through a lap here. So coming up, looking at the windshield wiper going beyond the inside curb, ease on the brake, toss it in right back on power before the apex. Here on the left, the little support road, down, again power. As soon as you're at your maximum rotation of the steering wheel, right? Like, you know how far you're going to turn it. It's as little as possible to get the rotation of the cars you need. As soon as you hit that max steering lock, back on power, unwind it. Here at the start of the curb, on power in a straight line, ease off, hit that inside curb, back on power at the apex. Same deal there. You hit your max steering lock, back on power, unwind the hands. Making this as wide as possible. Get to the inside, halfway through this curb, hit the brakes. Ease off. This one you can get back on at the apex, and then this, if you go a full left and then don't hit that inside right curb, you can take that flat. As you can see there, there's a lift that only me and the engineer know about. That last corner, you know, you brake fairly quick down to fourth, toss it to the inside, try to get that inside curb. So even here you can cut that corner. I didn't do a great job there. Try to maximize the width here, back on power early, ride it all the way out, little lift, back down on power, use all of the track exit there, and that is a lap at Hockenheim. So that was, I think, my quickest of the session. And we have a little look-see here from this Honda, Acura, whatever you want to call it. And able to brake right enough to keep him behind. So right there, it already tells me he's going to try to make everything he can, as he should. Fortunately, this hairpin, I was fairly quick, so I knew that there wasn't going to be an opportunity for him here. And we see him kind of getting into a scrap with the car to the right, so that's good news for me, because then I could just focus on what's coming up in front. Almost flat and thought about it. this guy I know have a chance here somewhere. Andre now behind, trying to make a move. He was very aggressive. Oh, and we had an opportunity here. Yeah, there we go, able to seal the deal. And that allows Igor to go fight with Andre to give me a chance to get
I don't
some
know why
breathing
you
room.
got on the brakes that early. I don't know if that guy caused it. I'm sorry.
Alright, and here we can see it looks like Jonathan is driving in his mirrors a little bit. I say that because you see him missing apexes, going wide a lot, and catching him at a pretty good clip, so, you know, I know that there's an opportunity. Quick glance at behind, it looks like Andre is taking care of himself, so we don't have to worry about that coming down the road. Oh, and we got an opportunity here. Jonathan goes wide and back on power early and got it. So now it's just a matter of hitting marks and trying to build as much of a gap as possible to run away here, and maybe we can finish with the podium. So here we get 8 minutes left, and we're a little more than halfway through, and there's a possibility. You just can't bin it or turn the car around backwards, right? Which I have done before. You know, it's sometimes like you settle in, you think you get comfortable, and then you either start underdriving the car, or you miss a marker because you're like daydreaming about popping champagne, which is not something you do when you're sim racing. Definitely becoming more cautious. 11x here. You know, at this point in the race, just like trying to think about pounding and clean laps, so you can see that I'll start braking a little earlier, make the car a little more controlled, sacrificing a little bit of time just to make sure that I'm safe. So this corner coming up was one that I kept trying to figure out the best spot to go on power, and I figured it was like as you see this oil can, as it crosses the windshield wiper, is like where you want to start giving it the beans. But it's tough because if you don't have the same entry every time, your power on point's a little different. Because you can run fairly wide on that outside and then cut it back in, but you really have to time the power right. All right, skip it forward a little bit because there's not much going on. And here we have Igor closing down the gap underneath. So I had kind of gotten into a bit of a daze and lost my rhythm a little bit, and took for granted the gap that I had. And now it's coming down at tenths per corner, it feels like. And looking at the time, we got a few laps to go still. So I really need to get my head out here and put in some work to hit some marks. But it's crucial that you don't just start driving in the mirrors, right? Like you have to really micro focus on what's coming up in front of you, right? Really be present with what's happening. And it's so easy for the car behind to suck you out of it, even if it's a 1 second gap, which is fairly safe. But it's easy to start making little mistakes or overdriving the car as you try to maintain your position, and you really have to try to resist that as much as you can and just hit your marks, right? Like know what your braking points are, get back on power where you're supposed to, keep the car on the circuit, and be smooth, right? Think about being smooth, and you have to resist that temptation to try to do things that don't make you faster like that. I just took way too much speed into that corner, right? So like destroy my exit. And it's like, for what? Why did I not brake as hard? I'm trying to find that threshold where I can be as fast as possible, because I see that this guy's coming up on me and now he's down to a second, right? That gap was 2 seconds a few laps ago. So just, my lap time plummeting, right? To go to a second off my normal pace. And it's tricky because you have the pace inside you, right? It's like you've done it, it's there, and you just need to execute and not run wide. There's an apex there somewhere, but I didn't hit it, not that lap. But you just look at the next spot, right? You're like, okay, I know what the next corner is. All right, I gotta go wide. Great, boom. And you start just trying to string together one in a row, right? Just hit your marks, hit your marks, hit your marks. And you just gotta think about that, like the next one coming up here. It's right. It's like brake in, downshift, back on power, and just know what you're supposed to do. And just focus on the next one. If you miss one, don't panic. Just focus on the next one, get back on it. Right? Know what that next moment is on circuit that you can pick it up. And here we go, white flag, so one more lap. Which we did a lot of laps because the leaders were so fast that we ended up doing about 1 or 2 more than you would typically see. And now I'm just collecting off tracks and starting to panic a little bit because, if Igor gets close, wants to send it, and we make contact, I'm shit out of luck, right? So that's a drive-through penalty to finish the race, or I think it's like a 5-second penalty or something like that if you don't serve it. All right, got the apex, doing well here, stringing together a good final lap. That pressure is finally sitting in. I was able to shake whatever momentary yips I had, which really just comes from focusing on what you know. And you can see there's a marked difference in my driving here on this lap from the last one, where it's like the brake pressures are much more precise, trailing is much more precise, the behavior of the car is much better, it's smoother. last couple corners. So it's easy to go too hard here and turn it around. Will I hold on? Yes, I will. All right, and P3 feels like a P1, even though the last half of the race should have been fairly pain-free. So let's raise a cup of tea and call it a night.
There we have it, a satisfying P3 under pressure at the end there. You know, always nice to finish well in a good group. And of course, if I could have been a little bit more consistent in my iRacing career, I'd probably be racing with this group more often than I am, and not just in the odd late night when no one's around. So if you enjoyed this content, please comment below, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.